Oregon, and today I wanted to share with you all about the Oregon Promise Grant, and you know different ways that you can use that grant to kind of further who you are and where you're going in life. And so, as I disclosed to Chris when we first got on, I have three kids. My middle daughter, my middle child, it started out at a community college, and it was just perfect for her. She wasn't the type of person who could have made um, a transition from living at home to living away at the same time she made the transition from high school academics to college academics. So taking it in stages was perfect for her. My other two kids wanted nothing to do with that. So they both started immediately at four-year schools. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so here we are. Let me move this out of the way so I can see it. What a lot of us think of when we think of the Oregon Promise is, where did I go here? There we go. We're kind of like, oh, it's free community college, but I don't know a whole lot. There are a few things that you have to do in order to be eligible. And the first thing that you have to do is to actually apply. So to do that, you can come in to Oregon Student Aid, and you would just log into the student portal. It's going to ask you just a couple of questions. And I pulled up this page just to show you. For most of us, the deadline is going to be June 1st. Where did I saw that on here earlier. So if you're graduating, if you're a traditional graduating in May or June kind of high school student, the application's open right now. I would just do it right now. Do it over spring break. It'll take you maybe 10 minutes. I think the hardest piece of this whole process for students is actually getting the username and the password. Here we go. So June 1st, that's where I saw it. It's going to ask some really simple questions of you. It'll ask about a transcript. And the one thing that you want to do is check the box and say that you're happy to have your high school verify your GPA. And then what happens once you graduate is that OSAC, our state agency that runs the Oregon Promise program, they'll get a list of every student from a particular high school. They'll send it to the counseling office or the registrar's office, and they'll say, hey, Jen Satellino is on this list. Did she have at least a 2.0 when she graduated? And they'll just check a yes or no box. So it's pretty easy. I'd really encourage, if you're still undecided about what you're going to do, go ahead and complete the Oregon Promise application. You can only complete it at this point in your life. Once you graduate or that deadline is passed, you can't complete it. And you'll need to start attending an Oregon community college within 6 months of graduation. So for most students, that means you'll graduate in the spring and you'll start community college in the fall. You don't get another chance. So if for some reason you don't enroll in the fall, you take a gap year, anything like that, here we go, here's Annalise, then you lose out. So it's just really important to get the application in on time. And again, the deadline for this is June 1st, but most students have at least 5 spare minutes during spring break to get this done. So any questions about the application? The other thing you'll need to do is to make sure that you've completed either a FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, or the ORSA, which is the Oregon Student Aid application. You'll complete one or the other. You don't complete both. If you're a US citizen or an eligible non-citizen, so maybe, I think it's like 88% of our students fall into that category, you would do a FAFSA. And if you're an undocumented student, a dreamer, or you're eligible for DACA, then you would complete an ORSA. There's another group of students who can complete the Oregon Promise application and are eligible. And these are adults who didn't graduate from high school, but who have recently passed the GED exam. So, and again, you want to get, if you're in the process of taking those exams and completing them right now, you'll want to get your Oregon Promise application in. All right, so I'm going to kind of go through different things that you might or might not have thought about. What most of us think about when we think about Oregon Promise, oops, is right over here. We think about using it to get a transfer degree. So going for the first year or the first 2 years at a community college, and then transferring into a 4-year college or university. And as I mentioned, my daughter did that. It took her 2 years at Portland Community College, and then she transferred and did her last 2 years of coursework at a 4-year university. For her, it was about transition. Sometimes it might just be that there's something going on in your life. So when I was a senior in high school, I had a parent who was terminally ill, and then they said she was in remission, and then she wasn't. So had I been thinking clearly, I probably would have started at the community college about a mile from my house. Wasn't thinking that clearly, I started far away and then came home. But you don't have to use this for an entire year or an entire 2 years. You can just use it as you need to. So if it's just that first term, you want to get started, or maybe sometimes, not necessarily here in Oregon, but there are colleges and universities that will admit students, but maybe not allow them to start until January. You can kind of get a start on your college classes here. In Oregon, we have a couple different ways to do this. We have something called an Associate of Art Oregon Transfer, and that is a full-on 2-year degree where when you complete that, you've met all the requirements you need to transfer into one of our 4-year public universities. We also have an Associate of Arts Business Transfer, and there's an Associate of Science Oregon Transfer as well. That sounds really strange to me, but I think that they might have just added it. It's important to kind of, if you know where you're going to transfer, to really work with the advisors at that new school. Make sure that the classes that you're taking in your transfer degree match what they require for students. The other option to do is something called an Oregon Transfer Module, or an OTM. And this is 1 year's worth of classes. So it's a fall, winter, spring kind of thing. So you do that, and then again, those courses directly transfer again to our 4-year public universities. The Oregon Promise will pay for up to your first 90 term credits here in Oregon. So if you're a student that maybe has been doing some dual credit at your high school, if it's through a community college, the credits that you've earned will count towards that 90 credit limit. So if you've taken, one of my daughters took choral, vocal. She got credit from Portland Community College for those courses while in high school. So the total number of credits that she could earn using Oregon Promise to pay was that 90 credits minus the credits that she had already earned. So, so just kind of keep that in mind. Most students don't graduate with enough dual credit to make a huge difference, but it can make a difference. The other thing that you can do, well, one of the other things that you can do with the Oregon Promise is to not go into an academic program where you're looking to transfer, but you can look at different programs just on their own. And so I pulled up, there are a couple of fun ones I pulled up. At Central Oregon Community College, you can actually enter in, they have a licensed massage therapy program where you can earn a certificate or a 2-year degree. So, and Central Oregon Community College is located in Bend, and it does have a residence hall. So oftentimes students are really interested in attending here for a year or two. And I know when I have taken tours of Central Oregon Community College, it's just a fun place. They start with the gym. I think that's a really big, you know, being active and being outdoors is really important to a lot of their student body. But I have to say the massage therapy is my favorite of their programs. You can see that they actually have, baking and culinary arts. They've got actually quite a few fire science and fire service administration, GIS, which ironically is used by the Oregon Department of Forestry to help when they're fighting wildfires. So, but they've got some really specialized programs, and their aviation program is pretty unique in this state. So you've got a lot of programs to choose from other than that traditional 4-year academic or 4-year bachelor's degree prep program. Other program I always like to highlight is at Southwestern Oregon Community College. They have the Oregon Coast Culinary Institute. So if you're interested at all in you know, the culinary profession and working in restaurants, this is a really great place to go. There are several of our community colleges that have culinary programs. Southwestern Oregon has one that really emphasizes the French cooking method, I guess you would say, but really kind of that more fancy cuisine. And Southwestern Oregon Community College also has a residence hall. So you can see they've got a couple different tracks. You can just do a really short intensive culinary arts program, you can go into my favorite, baking and pastry arts, and or you can get a full-on degree in culinary management or baking management. So I've got some choices there. Now, one thing that students don't really think about when we're talking about Oregon Promise, you can actually use your Oregon Promise while you're at a four-year school. And so the way this works, I'm going to pick on Oregon State. They're located very, very close to Linn-Benton Community College. And there is a shuttle bus that runs between the Oregon State campus and the LBCC campus every day on the loop. A lot of students at OSU do take classes at Linn-Benton. The way this can really work to your advantage is if you're taking at least 6 credits at Linn-Benton, those 6 credits will be covered by Oregon Promise, which is fantastic. But students are often really attracted to kind of that college experience, that college lifestyle, and they're really, really worried about, I go to a community college, I'm going to miss out on all the fun that happens. If you're taking at least 6 credits at Oregon State, you can live in the residence halls. So if you're at Linn-Benton getting your 6 credits through Oregon Promise, and you're at Oregon State taking your 6 credits so you can live in the residence hall, you are considered a full-time student. So you kind of get the best of both worlds there. You can take classes at both institutions. You're paying a really discounted or free rate at Linn-Benton Community College by using your Oregon Promise, and you get to take advantage of everything that OSU has to offer, not just the residence halls, but career services, tutoring, counseling, that social life. So all of the fun stuff. So every year I do have several, probably at least 10 to 20 students that choose to work through OSU and Linn-Benton at the same time. OSU has something called the Degree Partnership Program. So if you choose to go that route, you have, for example, a financial aid administrator who's assigned just to this program. So if you've got a question and you email, they'll email you back, usually within the same day, but always within 24 hours. They're very, very, very responsive. U of O has a similar program. But I just kind of pick OSU and U of O because they're our 2 biggest 4-year universities here in Oregon. And U of O has official programs with Lane Community College and Southwestern Oregon Community College. So again, Southwestern Oregon Community College, you can apply to both schools, be admitted. If you're from the Coos Bay or North Bend Coos Bay area, you can stay down there, do a year or 2 while living at home, maybe saving some money, and then you can transfer right up to U of O. You could flip that. You could be at U of O. You can take some of your classes at SWAC online. And again, anytime that you're taking those classes at the community college, you can be utilizing your Oregon Promise. And then most common or more common students are, attending Lane Community College and University of Oregon at the same time, similar to Linn-Benton and Oregon State. So does that make sense? I should say that once you enroll in that fall, you take at least 6 credits, you have to continuously enroll fall, winter, and spring in order for your Oregon Promise to continue to be valid. So you don't have to enroll in the summer. And in fact, if you do enroll in the summer, the Oregon Promise doesn't work on summer tuition. But so we want you to just kind of we want to get you in and have you keep moving through whatever program it is. And then lastly, I know I've talked a lot about our public 2 years and our public 4 years. I'm going to pick on Linfield here. But private independent colleges also take kind of those more associate degree academic transfer credits. So if you, I can demonstrate this in just a sec, but if you were to take automotive at Portland Community College, that won't transfer to Linfield because they don't have an automotive program. But if you were to take Writing 121 at Portland Community College, it would transfer over to Linfield. So you've got to just kind of really be careful that the classes that you're taking are going to transfer. The best way to do this is to work with your academic advisor at the community college and also get to know an academic advisor at what do I call your target college or university. And every time you go to register, you can double check with both of those advisors to make sure that you're meeting the requirements at the community college but you're also meeting the requirements and the credit will transfer to Linfield. And that way, or whatever college you're intending to attend, but that way, if you take a class and it doesn't qualify to transfer, you're aware of that. You might want to take a fun PE class like Zumba or spinning or ballroom dancing, something like that. And you know ahead of time, like, this is a great class. I'm taking it for all these wonderful reasons. It's not going to transfer. But I pulled up Linfield's website here. Pretty much any college will have something similar, any four-year college or university. You can go in and ask about transfer credit. And so there'll be some interesting information here on the sides. Like, I love the transfer grids. So you can look right here and say, oh, if I'm starting out in the Dalles, what courses apply to, and they have LC because it used to be Linfield College. They haven't quite updated that yet. So we can click on that. And if I'm in the Dalles going to the community college there, I can say, oh, if I take writing 121 and writing 122, then it counts as my first year inquiry class. And so you're kind of going through here. It's a little trickier going from one of Oregon's community colleges to a private independent college or university, because our 2-year and 4-year colleges here in Oregon are on terms. So you've got 3 terms in a year, whereas most private colleges and universities are on semesters. So like in this instance, you had to take 2 term classes to equal, 1 semester class. The way around that is usually doing something like, if it's biology, you're taking 101, 102, and 103 at the community college. That's a full year. And a full year is the equivalent of 2 semesters at a private college or university. Most colleges and universities will have like a Hope database where you can go in. Let's see who I can pick on here. Let's pick on Portland Community College. They're just right up the street from me. So I can come all the way down here, go to Portland Community College and say, okay, now you can see I've got automotive. This is not transferring. They have an addiction certificate at PCC. That's not going to transfer. But within that program, I've got this one class, the substance abuse prevention, and that will transfer over into healthcare, HHPA. It's usually human health and something, right? But this one class will transfer over as a 3-credit class. So you just kind of want to go through. Let's see, let's get down. Let's get down here. Once we get into, so you can see like all of these computer information sciences, they'll come in as an elective. Internal wireless networking, well, that's not going to happen. But this PHP web development class, definitely. You take 2 of those classes, you can transfer that in as Computers 310 networks and web applications. So it'll kind of give you an idea before you start and while you're registering for classes, what's really, really going to work for you. All right, that was my quick and dirty. So the 3 things I really want to emphasize. You can go take something fun. You can go take culinary. You can go take, aviation or aviation mechanics. I'm trying to think of some of the other fun. Fun is a relative term. I would never think that dental hygiene would be fun, but for some people, it really, really is fun. So you can do that. Take a really career-focused class. You don't have to work towards a 2-year degree. If what you want to do only requires a certificate, and so maybe you only have to attend 1, 2, or 3 terms, that's fine. You still get to use Oregon Promise. So with PCC, that computer information systems, you can finish. There are only 3 classes you need to take to get a certificate in database management and SQL. You can take a whole year to get a certificate in computer information systems that allows you to get a job. Usually you start out like at a help desk, and then you can take 2 years, and then you can transfer those credits out to computer science at another school. So you've got some options there. You can take 1 or 2 years, and Oregon Promise pays for, again, up to 90 credits, which is the equivalent of 2 years of full-time attendance. So you take 1 or 2 of those years, take those kind of foundational academic classes that you need for a bachelor's degree, and then transfer to a 4-year college or university. Within Oregon, the universities in our 4-year public university system are really set up to make that transfer as easy as possible. And our community colleges really try to align to what the course requirements are at the 4-year universities. So you can also simultaneously attend a 2-year public college and a 4-year college or university and kind of get the benefits of both worlds there. And the 2 examples that I gave you were Oregon State and the University of Oregon, which are the 2 most popular schools to do that with. PCC also has an arrangement with Portland State. So usually what you'll find is that the community college closest to the 4-year college or university will have a relationship there. So any questions? I know I blew through that really quick, but I try to keep these short because I know you all have other places to be. Chris, you look like you might have a question. Oh,
no, I
okay.
don't. I mean, I didn't know anything about this going in.
Okay.
I mean, I just heard people mention this grant and the fact that community college might be an option for my daughter. I thought it would be worthwhile to listen in, but I mean, you provided me with all the information I need. It sounds like we have to. There's no harm in going in to apply for it right now, but
nope.
we need to make sure we hit the deadline. So if she were to not, so this is only for recent graduates, right?
Yes.
So it's only for people who are recent graduates of high school or people who have just gotten their GED.
Correct.
And then there's a window that they have to apply, and then once that window closes, then they're not eligible anymore.
Correct.
Okay, that's good to know.
So kind of light a fire under her, give her a little bit of urgency.
Exactly.
But I always tell students, like, if she gives you pushback, just like it's kind of like an insurance policy.
Yeah.
So even if you don't end up attending, it's going to cost you like 10, 15 minutes of time.
Yeah.
But you still got that option in case you change your mind or you come to realize in August or September that that's where you want to be.
Perfect.
And then Annalise, any questions from you?
When you said that there was a bus that goes to the Lynn Benton Community College from OSU, is there a similar system like that to U of O where they have a bus that goes to a community college?
I don't think they do through the Lane Transit system, but I don't think it's just a dedicated bus between the 2 of them. But I know that you can at U of O, you walk out kind of on the main street there, and the buses are in the middle of the street. So you just kind of cross over and you wait for a bus and it'll take you right out to Springfield out towards Lane. So I know that Portland Community College has a shuttle bus similar to OSU and Lynn Benton, where you just get on the bus and it goes from PCC, the Sylvania campus, right to downtown and then back again. But I believe that U of O students, in the fees that they pay, your school ID serves as your bus pass on the Lane Transit system. So it's pretty easy to navigate. I went to U of O for 2 years and I took the bus everywhere, including to work, and it was really, really convenient for me.
Okay.
All right then. If y'all don't have any more questions, you know where to find me, because you found this video. Or this webinar, but I'll be posting the video, and I will still have webinars next week, even though I know people are going to be on spring break. I never got to go anywhere for spring break, so just in case you happen to be at home with nothing to do, I'll still be here, same time, same place. But thanks for joining me today, and if you've got any questions, please let me know.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll see you soon.
Yep.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.